Hi everyone, Bobby from Xbox Game Reviews, and today I'm joined with Gaz from 11 to talk about Prison Architect.
Hi Bobby, thanks for having me. So yep, I'm Gaz Wright, I'm the design manager at 11 in the UK.
So my first question was going to be, could you tell us a little bit about yourself in 11, but you've just told who you are, so could you tell us a little bit about 11 and what they do?
Sure, so 11 are a developer and publisher. So we're kind of equal amounts of both. We develop all kinds of computer games. I guess we're most famous known for games like Little Big Planet, Goat Simulator and Limbo ports, but what we do specifically is much more than what you would call a standard port. We really do pour our heart and soul into these games. So the company was founded in 2009 by ex-Rockstar vets. And we always wanted to make a company that was more about the people and working on games that we really want to work on. So Prison Architect is a kind of a good example of that at the moment, where we approach the introversion guys with our ideas about a modern console version and what we might kind of do with that. We love a challenge, so it was a great game for us to pursue.
And what is the so obviously I know that you approached them, but what is the story behind it? What was it that made you go for that game for Prison Architect with Introversion Software for the partnership?
So a number of things really. I'm originally a massive fan of the original game, and I was a backer. I saw the game for the first time at a Rezzed game show a few years ago, and this was before we knew Introversion, way before we partnered it. At least sort of 6 years ago. Their version has been in development for about 5 years in early access. Big hit, multi-million selling game, very successful, and as a player myself, I watched all of the dev videos and followed the game, and we had an opportunity to look for new games, and this was obviously a great hit on the PC, not on console before. You know, we're in pretty safe hands when it comes to making console games and porting them across. So we kind of approached them then about our ideas, and they were very willing to kind of do a console version, but they didn't necessarily want to handle it all themselves. So we entered with our ideas and the design and what it meant to make a game like Prison Architect for console. You know, we always knew it wouldn't be a game that would be a straight port, let's make it work on a controller and that's it. We would have to, you know, make it feel like a console game, look like a console game, and play like a console game. So it was important to kind of get some of those ideas across, and the rest is history really. So we're knee deep in development, a few months to go, and it's going to be out on 360, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and PS4.
And when you arranged this partnership, did you get free reign, or did you have to go by certain guidelines that are set in place?
We did get a lot of free reign on the game. I mean, it's definitely been one of my favourite projects to work on as design manager. In the past, we've worked with companies that are very kind of protective over their licenses, rightly so. So you know, we can't maybe make as many changes as we'd like. But with the Introversion guys, it's been a blast really. They know they have a great game on their hands. We've run critical design decisions through them, but we've had a great experience with them, and they've rarely had to kind of, you know, point us back in the direction or rein us back in. It's been completely open development really, and judging by the reactions of the PC fans and the Introversion guys on the videos, they're obviously really pleased with the current console versions, and that's great praise for us as well.
And this is where I want to start asking about the game, but I know after having a look at it today with you, I've realised how big it is and how much is in the game compared to what I was actually expecting. So my question is, could you give us an overview of the game? But obviously I know you're not going to be able to get everything in to this interview of what's there, because there is a lot to do and a lot of things in the game which I wasn't expecting.
Sure, so Prison Architect is the world's biggest lock 'em up game. So you essentially play the architect or the warden, so you're in charge of building a maximum security prison and then running it. Now how you want to do that is completely down to you. You can be a nice warden and have a nice peaceful prison, have a peaceful coexistence amongst your inmates, or you can go the other route, which is a completely brutal supermax prison where guards are patrolling every corridor and punishments are induced and the prisoners are just so scared to step out of line. It's completely up to you. I think what's interesting as well about the concept as a whole is that in modern times the issue of whether prisons are too harsh or not harsh enough is quite commonly divided. So as a player you'll have the opportunity to kind of answer that in the way that you would wish.
And when we had a look at it today, I noticed that it had 3 modes. It's got the prison architect, which is kind of like a sandbox mode to design your own prison and run it how you want. It has prison stories, which is kind of the campaign of the game, so to speak. And it has World of Wardens, which is what looked like you could go in and interact with other people's maps, ones that people have put on, and I know that you've got a rating system in that as well, so that people can vote for the one that's best, and that'll be easy to find for you. Can you tell us a little bit about each of them and what makes them differ from the rest?
Sure. Yeah, so there's 4 main modes or areas in Prison Architect. So the first one, as you mentioned, is the prison stories. So those are 5 story-driven campaign missions, if you like. So each one has a number of cutscenes and different characters, and the players will be dropped into increasingly larger prisons, each one with unique challenges or problems to overcome. So, for example, they might be dealing with a death row inmate in another prison story. They might have to deal with a riot and bring in the firemen and then the riot police and then rebuild, so they learn a bit more about construction. In another story, they're dealing with a prisoner who's on suicide watch, and they have the opportunity to try and reform that prisoner, so run drug rehabilitation programs and then teach him life skills, so like carpentry, and then put him to work in your prison. So you learn about how to turn profit through prison labour. And there's 5 complete stories in Prison Stories mode, and by the end of it, players will have everything they need to be able to start making their prisons from scratch. Each of the stories at least an hour's worth of gameplay as well, and they're quite fun to play as well. So the other main modes, if you were going to start a new game, are Prison Warden mode and Prison Architect mode. So Prison Architect mode is, as you say, like our sandbox. So players can jump straight into an empty plot of land. You can create a random plot of land with different features such as trees, abandoned buildings, ruins and water. So you jump straight in and you just start building a prison from the ground up. We've added a load of new options for players in console versions to play like at their level. So you can choose to play with unlimited funds if you wish. You can turn the gangs off if you don't want the challenge of gangs. You can turn off some of the failure conditions. And you can also choose from a number of new wardens as well. And each warden has different effects on your prison. So one, for example, makes the guards a little bit tougher. One may extort cash from your prisoners as a kind of a dirty warden, if you like. The other big mode is Warden mode itself. We've taken a number of pre-built prisons from some of the best creations that we've seen from the PC community. We've also added a few of our own from the Double 11 level designers, and that's an opportunity for players to just jump straight into a pre-built prison. It's already staffed, already up and running with staff, has lots of inmates in already, and you can jump straight in, maybe bypass some of the construction stuff, but you'll be able to make that prison your own, demolish walls, add new sections, add new land, expand, anything you wish. World of Warden mode is our new mode for console as well, where it's a community-driven area in-game where you can share and download your prisons. So if I make something that's really cool, I want to share it, I want to brag about it, I want to showcase it to the community, and players can do that. We've seen just some amazing prison designs that people have been making that, you know, we have more time than we do, and we want players to be able to share those creations. So they can do that. If you're a player that wants to download them, you can do that as well. So you can rate each other's prisons, download them, and then again make them your own.
Yeah, when you were showing us before, it was decent to say that you could download it and edit it if you wanted to change it the way that you wanted it. But when I was looking at it, we noticed that you've had to change quite a lot from the PC version to the Xbox. I know that you were talking about the user interface when we were chatting earlier on. So I was just wanting to know, because this wasn't a straightforward port, could you tell us what the changes were in any issues that you had, which you had to overcome along the way when you were bringing this game to console?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're looking at the game and the PC versions as separate versions of the game. So, I mean, the changes are in the hundreds, or the improvements and the enhancements. But one of the biggest challenges, of course, was the controls and the UI. I always think that the console gamers are missing out on these types of games. So, for Prison Architect in particular, so it's a no-brainer, really. They want to play fun games just like everyone else. So, and Prison Architect's a great game, obviously very popular on PC. But there is, of course, that obvious challenge of dealing with the UI and the controls. It is a very mouse and keyboard driven game in its original form, but we've completely overhauled that from the ground up, given it an entirely new UI, mapped things to different buttons, and created this very intuitive kind of control system that works really well on controllers. And things are just as fast, if not sometimes faster than on PC. It's very easy to construct quick rooms, for example, to demolish walls, to build doors in walls. Everything's very, very fast. So even though it's a nice UI and it's very minimalist, things are only ever a couple of clicks away. And we've focus tested that over and over again, to make sure we get that, we retain that immediacy. It has that console feel, but it's just as fast as you would want it to be on a PC in order to build.
With the news of the game also being released in retail on hard copy, could you tell us about the decision to release it on disc as well as digital?
Yeah, sure. So it was an easy decision to make, really, based on the growing popularity of the game. We feel it's going to do really well, so we want to ensure that we can reach as many players as possible. We know that some players will appreciate being able to own a physical copy of the game, and we've partnered up with a company that will handle the distribution and the manufacture of the box versions. So I think it's great for players to have that opportunity, and obviously it's great awareness for the game as well, for people to see it in stores. And really it just comes down to this type of decision with any company is it a worthwhile endeavour based on the game's current popularity, and judging by the fans' reactions and on social media, we feel that way. There's a lot of people excited to see this game come out.
Is there any future plans for DLC or pre-order benefits or special editions with Prison Architect in the console industry?
Potentially. I guess we have to watch this space. I mean, we would like to do console exclusive content, so we have to go through that kind of process of coming up with some ideas and pitching it to the platform holders, but it is something that we are interested in doing. Ultimately, it's down to the popularity of the game as well and the demand, and the game has just gone into the game preview program as one of the first games to do that for Xbox One. So we're amongst the first now at the moment that you can go on your Xbox One and download the game in game preview before it's out, before it's released, and it's still in development. So we're gauging some of the fan feedback already and the reactions and the kind of content that they would like to see in future versions. We're definitely going to keep an eye on, and if the game's as popular as we hope, then we'd love to do more content for it, for sure.
Do you have any other projects in the pipeline for release on Xbox One that you could tell us about? Whether it's your own game that you're developing or if it's another port that you have selected to come across?
Unfortunately not at the moment, but we are a studio that's working on a number of IPs and prototypes. So when we get a bit closer to showing some of those, definitely we want to see what people think. At the moment we're focused on Prison Architect, and when that's released we want to look at continuing some work on IP. But that's our goal as a studio, to be able to publish games, to develop games, and to work on IP.
Is there anything else that you'd like to add for anybody listening to the interview?
So the console versions we're planning to come out in spring this year. We don't have a specific release date at the moment, but it's out on Xbox One in game preview now, out on Xbox 360, and PS4, and it's priced at $29.99, so that equates to 19.99 British pounds. Fans of the game can also check out our official Prison Architect website, which is prisonarchitect.double11.com, and I think this is going to become a real companion to the game. At the moment there's articles on there and you link to our forums and lots of things to discuss. We're also running competition as well to be in the game. You can actually be a prisoner in the game if you win the competition, so you can create a character with a mugshot, with a prisoner nickname and his own original bio, and then upon the closing of the competition we'll draw winners, and those players will be characters in everybody's game. I think that's a really cool opportunity. So that competition's running from now until mid-March, where we'll announce the winners. So that's prisonarchitect.double11.com, and there'll be more content and features and news and exclusive things going on there in the future.
We'll put the link in the description for people to see it, so they can just click straight on it. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Double 11 for having us in the offices today, and thank Gaz for spending the afternoon showing us around the game and answering some questions.
Thank you very much, Bobby. It's been a pleasure.
If you like what you've seen, give her a like, stick a subscribe on it, and we'll see you soon.